I hope this video is going to blow your mind. Seances were done at night because spirits or light energy beings struggled with the neutrinos or photons that come from the sun. That's why some seances are done with a red light, because the red light that produces a different frequency to a white light. Now, if you move that information over to Khafre's pyramid, which is the second largest pyramid in Giza, yes, they say that that was his burial chamber. No, it wasn't. It was actually a place where he would lay down and have less neutrinos coming through the pyramid to be able to talk in pitch black to spirits. And so that's what the Khafre's pyramid was for. Now, there is, if you look here, this is in Smithsonian. I know, do say be careful of what the Smithsonian say, but looking for neutrinos, nature's ghost particles, because that's the same frequency as I just said. Now, there's a massive place deep, deep underground that they've built to actually stop neutrinos getting through. It's partly to do with heavy water. I'll carry on in the next video. We know this is a great pyramid, and this was built by Ningazida, which was also known as Thoth in Egyptian times. Regardless of what people say, that's my opinion. And this one is also built by the same person, but a bit later on. Now, this was actually written in the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, where he talks about building a pyramid. Now, unfortunately, everyone assumes it was that one, but it wasn't. It was this one that came later on. So let me read a passage to you from the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, because if you watch my last video, you'll see that he used this to get to the halls of Amenti, which was basically the underworld, the spirit world, which is what I just said in the previous video. So ready? Raised I high over the entrance, a doorway, a gateway leading down to Amenti. Few there would be there with the courage. Few past the portal to the dark Amenti. Raised over the passage, I, a mighty pyramid. So basically, where that pyramid is, he's built, he believed that there was a gateway underneath that to the spirit world. And then he wrote, using the power that overcomes Earth's force. So in other words, he's placed it in a certain place deliberately, such as a ley line. Deep and yet deeper I place a force, house or chamber. From it I carved a circular passage reaching almost to the great summit. There in the apex set I the crystal. So in other words, he's put a crystal somewhere up the top here. Of course, no one shows you the top, but that's what he's saying here. So it would be interesting if someone actually scanned that properly. Sending the ray into the time-space, drawing the force out from the ether, concentrating upon the gateway to Amenti. So basically, as I said in the previous video, he laid in the chamber and used a crystal up the top here to be able to talk or feel like he's out-of-body experience to the underworld, to the spirit world. Some new information on this tiny little alien skeleton, and I say alien skeleton because if you look at it and you actually study it, this was found in Chile, in the desert in Chile. It has 10 pairs of ribs, 2 fewer than humans, and so on. There's a whole long list of things. Even the cranial plate there is different from humans, and the jawbone, and so on, so on, so on. So this little creature, in my opinion, is what people would call a Smurf. Yes, it's the real name, or a leprechaun, or there's so many different names across different locations. Now, what's interestingly new is in Egypt recently they found 2 mummified versions of that skeleton, both girls again, just like the other one, and they were found in Tutankhamun's tomb, and they say that it's Tutankhamun's daughters, but they've never seen anything like it other than, wait for it, look at that position, shape, exactly the same. Unfortunately, this person believes that this was debunked in 2013. They haven't obviously done their homework. Feel free to watch my videos and learn a little bit more, or go to outruehistory.co.uk and learn even more. Now, this little alien I've done videos on, and it's only got 10 ribs instead of 12, and the cranial plate's different to humans, and jaw's different, and basically eye socket's different, the whole long list. So let's have a look what they say about it. So it says here, DNA not only shows that she was human, but she belonged to the local population. So human DNA. Now, a banana has human DNA. A fruit fly has human DNA. Basically, everything has human DNA. In fact, it's not human DNA. It's just us being big-headed. It's a generic DNA. Anyway, but let's go along. And she belonged to the local population of Chile. So that means chances are she's not going to cross the ocean to go somewhere else, is she? Little tiny little thing like that, bless. Well, actually, in Egypt, they found 2 mummified versions of the same skeleton, both again female, and they have come up with this concocted story that they believe it was Tutankhamun, who was a kid himself, that they're his children, and they were fetuses, and even though they don't look like anything like a human, etc., etc., and that's why they were mummified. So that you can see mainstream here clutching at straws. But let's have a look at why the original. So now these have got to be fake as well if they're not, if people think they're fake. But let's have a look at who actually debunked it. So this was a guy called Gary Nolan, and he worked for the Stanford University in California. Let's have a look at Gary. There he is. He's an upstanding fellow, so I'm sure he wouldn't. He would tell us the truth, wouldn't he? Because well, who's funding the place that he worked at? Let's have a look. So Stanford University. Oh, got some funding. Wow. Okay, that's pretty cool. From what's that at the top? Rockefeller Foundation. Weren't they the ones that pay for money for the Cairo Museum, the Smithsonian, other institutions? And they basically, it appears when you look deep into it, they don't want us to know our true history. Because you'll find out that the Smithsonian actually destroyed giant skeletons, and that's why people say, oh, there's no such thing as giant skeletons. They actually destroyed them and had a court case over it. So when you put all of this together, it is not debunked, because clearly they're actually saying that it was a real skeleton just because it's got DNA in it that matches fruit flies. Ignore the word human there. So what do you think? You think, once again, ourtruehistory.co.uk has boom dropped the mic? Thank you. No aliens in this video, but I thought I'd mention that archaeologists have recently found a 3,000-year-old lost city that's just been discovered. Now, I have to be careful when I say discovered, because people will say, well, the people that lived there knew about it, so how can it be discovered? But basically, it's talking about here that they believe it was around the time of Aten. So the problem is, if you keep reading all the information here, it's like they guess, they think, they this, they that. So in other words, there's no real time frame exactly for this city. So I'm not disputing that there isn't a city, but I am just saying that they kind of guess on the dates because of pottery, etc., etc. So they believe it's 3,000 years old. They may be right, they may be wrong, but I'm just pointing out that, sometimes they don't actually know. If you watch my other videos, you'll know that I know that they don't know.